Now I'll make you as a host. 1 minute. Yeah, I did you as a host. Yeah, done. So just we'll wait for some time.
Sure, Ritvik. Just to also understand, Ritvik,
Yeah.
how much time do we have for this session today?
Basically, we have 2 hours of time. So
Okay, okay, we have
just
plenty of time.
we can,
Okay,
because it is an introductory session. As we
yeah,
discussed with your Samir,
yes,
we just you can have 1 hour or 1.5 hours. It's up to you basically. Even
sure,
2 hours also. Yeah.
sure.
And
Okay,
every Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. you will be having sessions. Yeah. Complete.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute. Hi, Anubhav. Anubhav, just we can start the session. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I think the meeting is already being recorded. So,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. Thanks, Ritvik, and thanks everyone for joining. This is the
Anubhav, I'll leave
kickoff.
the session. I'll leave the session. Yeah, because
Okay,
I just
okay.
no
Yeah,
problem.
go ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Or else just it will be like that only. I'll be muting myself. I won't be at the session.
Okay, you said you are leaving the session, is what you're saying,
It
right?
will be like that. So I joined from my mobile. No problem. Just like I'll mute myself. I won't be any interacting. Yeah.
Okay. Shall I start now?
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
All right. Again, thanks everyone for joining. So this is the kickoff session for the Data Analytics Manager program. From what I understand is that you guys either have already completed or are completing and in progress of the technical side of the program that Apshala has, right? On the data science and data analytics side of things. This course is supposed to be in parallel with which you have to do in conjunction with that course, which will focus on the non-technical side of things. So how you can achieve success in the data analytics domain. Uh, Being in a data analytics domain, you have to, a lot of things that we are going to discuss today will make more sense when we actually discuss it in detail. But you have to understand that if you connect with, let's say, 10 successful people in data analytics, 90% of them are going to tell that, most of our success have come from, the non-technical side of things. You have to be in tech, but you have to also learn how to, uh, you know, communicate with the stakeholders, conflict resolution, vendor negotiations, and a lot of things that we are discussing. How do we do that in order to effectively manage a project and manage a team of analysts and data science folks, data engineers? So that's about the program. We'll discuss it in much more detail. For introductions to start with, just a moment. Okay. So I'm Anubhav. I've total of 9 years of experience in the data analytics space. I've worked in different companies of different sizes, worked for the longest in Deloitte and then couple of years in Empower Financing. Currently, recently moved to Evlara. All my experience has been into data and analytics. Roughly last 6 years, I've been working specifically as an analytics manager. My expertise revolves around, building and managing high performing teams into the analytics domain and how I can use my analytics, advanced and analytics and data storing knowledge to drive business growth and make sure that we are creating some impactful, taking some impactful decision using those advanced analytics, right? So just to gauge the kind of experience this group has, can in the chat everyone just mention in brief about their name and total experience that they have, just so that I'm aware on what's the median age that this group has? When I say age, work experience this group has. So do you folks have access to put something in chat? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So just go ahead and put your name and experience in chat. Just for my understanding to gauge the median experience this group has. Okay. 6 years, 20 years, 3 years, 15 years, 8.5 years, 20 years, 3 years. Okay, so it's a mix of things, and it's very good. 2.5 years, and okay, 10 plus, 10 plus. That's good. That's good. So entrepreneur, amazing, amazing. Yeah. Okay. So from what I gauge, it's a mix of you know, age groups with starting from 1.5 years, entrepreneurs, 20 plus years of experience. And that's the right set of group that we have, because we all can learn from each other then, because there are folks who have a lot of experience and they will even have experience in managing teams, right? And uh, folks who have that much experience can attest to it that, a lot of success comes from things which are beyond technical expertise, right? In case you have worked in that domain. So today we'll be discussing that. Okay. So now that we have the median age gauged, let's just move to the next slide. Okay, so the session agenda, overview of data analytics manager role, what all this role entails, what all things on a daily basis you'll be doing, and we'll touch everything on a very high level. And of course, in the upcoming sessions, we'll go in much more detail on how do we do that, what all things we do on a daily basis, and we'll break down into pieces and see how to, divide and conquer all those elements of a data analytics managerial role. What's the difference between an individual contributor and manager roles, specifically all of this into the data and data analytics managerial domain. Okay, what's the career growth, salary expectations lies? Again, this depends on a lot and lot of factor, but again, there are some benchmarks which we notice when we look into certain portals like Glassdoor and Ambition Box. So we'll discuss that. Why you should definitely aim for this role, and some guidance on the course structure that we have, and some assignment that we have. Okay. All right. Okay. So the overview of a data analytics managerial role, right? So what are the key responsibilities? There is dozens of more things that you will end up doing, but broadly, it's about building and managing team. So in my last company, and we are going to input everything that we discuss with real life experience from my own experience or something that I have seen uh, in this space, right? So in my last role, first thing that it was a startup. So coming from Deloitte, I moved to a startup. One of the first thing that I was told is that you need to build a team. You need to start hiring. How do you build and manage the team? How do you build and manage the team, and how do you manage the data analytics projects? And those are two different elements of a data analytics managerial position, managing and building and managing teams, and managing data analytics project where, all the agile and scrum, those things come into the picture, and we'll discuss them in more detail. And how do you handle the business stakeholders? So managing teams, projects, and stakeholders is your core, will be your core in this job. And how do you do all of that specifically in the data analytics space, right? Driving business decisions with data, how do you actually create the impact on, so when you are in an IC role, which we'll discuss in a moment, it's more about technical execution on how do you get things, how do you get the small pieces of the big machinery done. But this will be more about how do you use that machinery, how do you use that technical knowledge to actually drive business impact. That's where your actual value, real value as a data analytics manager will come, right? And balancing, of course, the technical side of things, the strategic side of things, and the leadership side of things. So data analytics manager position entails a lot of things, right? You might end up doing some development as well. I still do development. I have been in this position for roughly 6, 7 years, and in the analytics manager position. And there are times when you need to roll up your sleeves, uh, and roll up your sleeves and get some SQL stuff done, guide people on what are the best design principles when you're designing a dashboard, help them with what's the best way to model this data, because not everyone would have the creativity or the core skill that you have, in order to get things done, right? The skills framework, of course, aligning to what we have discussed so far, most important is your domain knowledge and business acumen. When I say business acumen, you don't need to know how to run the business, but if you are into, let's say you are in a financial firm, fintech firm, in a data analytics manager position, right? So you need to have knowledge on how that. So I was in a fintech firm prior to this. It was a Empower was the company last I was working, and now I'm in Avalara. It's also in the finance space, but Empower was into sponsoring people who are going to study in US and Canada, and there are only two market leaders in that, Empower being one of them. So I needed to understand, what are the financial metrics they capture. And it was an ed fintech firm. So I had to learn about the ed education part of it and the fintech finance part of it, right? So that will be very important. Of course, your leadership skills, your team building, managing and building team, managing projects. And of course, how do you deal all of that with hundreds of requests that you might be receiving from? That's where the agile and scrum part of it comes, right? So we'll discuss that in the upcoming sessions. And of course, there are technical skills and there are managerial technical skills, right? Like as a manager, the first thing what I did in both of my roles in here and my last role was, okay, you are building a team, but what tool do you need to do? Is it Tableau or is it Power BI for data visualization? For data prep, is it going to be Alteryx, or we can use the free Tableau prep that would come with Tableau? Or there are some other expensive tools, Alteryx being one of them, Talend is there, Boom is there, a lot of tools are there, right? So what are the criteria to evaluate what tools to bring? What all do you need to keep in mind? How do you negotiate with the vendor? How many licenses do you need, right? And all those things. And these are life skills. Essentially, any role in the data analytics manager position you go, this is something that eventually you'll need to do anyways. And from what I understand, with the median age group, median work age group that I see, a lot of you might have already done things on this line, but we are going to discuss how do you apply all of that in the data analytics space. So before we go any forward into more meaty stuff on, IC versus data analytics manager, the salary expectations, and why you should aim for this. Or any questions so far in what we have discussed? Feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. Okay. If nothing else, that's a good thing. So I'll just move forward. Okay. Thanks, Mukul. No questions. So yeah, let's move on to the next part of this course. Okay, we need to understand the IC versus the data analytics manager. IC in a data analytics, space, and we'll break it down when you say data and analytics. it literally means hundreds of things, right? You can be just in data, you can be just in analytics, you can be a data engineer. Nowadays, analytics engineer is a thing, and that's one of the my background when I was doing development, or when even when I'm leading teams, my background comes in more of analytics engineering, which is a combination of data engineering and data analytics. But my core has always been data analytics. So we'll discuss what do you mean by data analytics as well. But right now, IC versus data analytics manager role, what's the difference, right? So when you're IC, you'll be focused more on, the execution and technical side of things. On you need to prepare a report, you get the report, you prepare the report. That's it, which is very important, which is super important. But that's where your real focus is as an IC. But as a manager, data analytics manager, your focus will be more on how do I use that report to drive business? Can it increase my business? Can it help? And not necessarily when you are in a startup kind of environment, it can directly, smaller things can directly, a report can directly impact business. But when you are in a when I was in Deloitte, not everything, not every report shoots up the business, right? It's about more about how is this report helping the end user? Is it helping them, close a meeting? Is it providing them the numbers correctly and in a timely manner? It's about the strategy that you develop around the people who are executing that report, because you'll be managing the ICs, right? How do you delegate the projects that
What is now?
analytics? Sorry, was
Jalebi?
anyone saying something? Okay, okay. So if you're not speaking, I would request folks can go on mute. Thank you. So yeah, focus on strategy, focus on what's an IC? Very good question. So IC is individual contributor, right? Individual contributor role. So individual contributor means that a data analytics manager person is managing certain people, right? It can be like in my current role, I handle a team of data analysts, data engineers, SQL folks, and insights folks, right? They are individual contributors because they are not managing a team. And I'm the data analytics manager. So currently, just a bit more background, I manage a team of people with all the different designations that I mentioned in a product team at Avalara. So it's a mix of managing people, it's a mix of project management, and since I'm in the product team, there's a bit of product management is also I do from the analytics point of view. So there are a lot of internal and external analytics. Product is also what I'm looking. So it's a mix of things. That's why we'll discuss how this role is so fulfilling compared to any individual contributor role that you can think of, which has its own space and has its own value. Okay, got it. Okay. Mindset shift from doing things to enabling others to do things, right? So you need to make sure that it's not just about making sure that the everyday tasks are being done, but also about how you are making sure that you build a system around it where people around you are, knowledgeable enough. Uh, just give me a moment. Just a moment. Okay, sorry. So how you are making sure that apart from just getting the things done, you are building a system, you're automating the process. And when I say automation in the managerial world, it's about delegation, right? How you are building the right set of people and how you are training them so that you are getting things done, enabling people to get things done, right? And adapting to a broader scope and balancing multiple priorities, right? So when you are IC, you are focused on doing that one thing, doing that one report or one SQL code getting done. But when you're in a managerial position, as I said, I handle a team couple, it's around four uh, Tableau developers. There's one Power BI developer because we are trying to move into Power BI from Tableau. Uh, there are a bunch of couple of SQL folks as well. And since we are bringing in Alteryx, there are we are there's one Alteryx person who is training all the SQL people to for Alteryx. So it's all multiple projects. There will be multiple Tableau things going on. There will be multiple data modeling things going on. There will be Alteryx stuff going on. How do you handle out of the and lot of projects coming in? How do you handle the stakeholders? How do you prioritize among the 100 projects that you have got? These are the five most important projects, analytics projects, data analytics projects, and this is what I want to do. How do you convince the leadership on that? So those are the things that a mindset change that will need to happen, right? When you move from a IC, individual contributor role, to a data analytics manager role. Common challenges is, this was one of the tough things that I had to face because I became a manager pretty early on. So learning to trust the team, right? When you are doing, it can be a simple, let's say a dashboard or even like a simple Excel report. It was hard for me to give up to someone expect with the expectation that the person will do as good, or as precisely and accurately as I was doing. But it's a part of the learning process where you will need to learn to trust the team, and you will need to develop the team and train them, right? So that's one of the thing. And managing different types of work, and in quotes exciting work. So as I said, there will be a lot of things that you will be doing, right? Depending on what kind of data analytics manager role you are, and depending what's your JD, and depending what part of your career you are in, you might be just leading projects, you might be just leading teams, or you might be doing mix of things, right? So different kind of exciting work. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Did I skip a slide? No.
Anirudh,
Okay,
we cannot see your screen. I think I cannot see your screen. I think so.
can someone confirm?
We are
Yes,
able to
screen is
see the
visible.
screen.
You're able to see the screen. Can you,
Yeah,
can
yeah.
folks put in chat how many people are not able to see the screen? So if it's just it's visible, right? Okay, if just I would suggest sorry, I missed the name, but I would suggest just uh, putting off the call and joining again. Uh, yeah, it's for the most folks it's visible. Might be a Zoom thing. Technology is best when it works, right? So just yeah, you can stop the call and just join again. It should work better. Okay. Uh, Common challenges is what we already did. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Salary expectations, these are rough estimate, and I have been conservative in focusing more on the lower end of each of these, but I've seen people earn way more than what's mentioned in here, and it can be even less, right? So entry level data analytics managerial position, it can be anywhere from, it's written 15, but it can be as low as 10. I don't think it should anytime it should be less than that. If it is, it's time to talk to your manager or time to switch, right? But it can be between 50 to 25. And when I say entry level data analytics manager position, I mean you have some experience either in data analytics space or in other domains, wherever respective fields you are from, but you should have some experience already, some work experience, general work experience already. And then entry level 15 to 25, it can be much more than this. Yeah, as entry level for me. And part of my process is it's not a tech course that we are doing in this this program, data analytics managerial program. Part of my job is to be honest with you and tell you about things that typically are not discussed in other roles, other programs, right? So I'll be giving you real life examples of my own journey and my own things in between, and you can ask questions. We'll have a Q&A section also in the end. But for when I was in data analytics manager position, I was earning more than this. So if I have done it, I can say definitely you can do it as well. Mid-level, and I'm not tagged specifically to years of experience in here because that is relative, but you need to have some experience, work experience in general, to enter this, right? And we'll discuss this. You'll need to correlate your experience with some data work that you might have done or some team management you have done. And in conjunction with this course, and in conjunction also the course that you're doing parallel, or you have already done the tech course that you are doing, on the data science, you should be ready to enter this position. Mid-level, it can be between 25 to 45, senior level 45 plus, depending on you are a manager, senior manager, director, even VP, I've seen people earn much more than this. And yeah, so that's a rough estimate based on Glassdoor, is what I have seen. Uh, factors in affecting that, that's the more important part than this, right? And these are, again, don't take this at a face value when I say 45 lakhs or 15 to 25 lakhs. It can be less, it can be more, but this is just a ballpark for you to understand how salary structure works and career growth works. At the end of the day, we all work for money, right? It's not the only thing, but it's an important thing, right? So you're also doing this course because you want some satisfaction, job satisfaction in terms of money as well. So that's why this small piece is what I've included. But more importantly, what are the things that influences this, right? Uh, so factors affecting this pay. It's about industry. Certain industries pay more. Uh, if it is, I'll talk about what do I mean by tech. But certain domains like finance, fintech pays the most. Healthcare, health tech is booming. At some point, it's going to far surpass even fintech. I'm in fintech. I've been in fintech in the last few years. Uh, yeah, there are certain domains which pay you more. If you are a HR analytics person, I have worked in HR analytics as well. So that domain pays slightly less. When I say less, it's all relative. You might get paid more than being in finance, being when you are in HR. In guidelines, certain fields pay, certain industries pay you more. Very important. This is actually should have been the first point. If you are in a product-based company, like Evlara right now for me, like Empower prior to this, it pays more. If you're a service-based company like Deloitte, which I started my career in Deloitte, and roughly more than 5 years I worked there. People is all they have, right? They don't have an actual product to sell, right? All the big fours, all the consulting firms, right? So those are the service-based companies. So they don't have actual product to sell. They have people. It's what they are dealing with. What they're selling is people, right? So typically they would pay less and with a strong focus on typically. But yeah, that's a general guide. Location is also a thing. I've seen people in certain locations, and I'm only talking about within India. It applies to anywhere else in the world as well, but typically in areas like Bangalore, in areas like Gurgaon, you know, and you don't need to be working there. But if the base location or if the company is situated in those areas, typically it will pay more. Definitely in Bangalore, a lot of IT jobs are there. So if your company is in Bangalore, if your startup is in Bangalore, and in some cases it doesn't matter, like in a service-based company, when I was in Deloitte, Bangalore has as big as an office as it is in Hyderabad. I was in Hyderabad for 7 years when I was in Deloitte. So it doesn't matter, but location is a thing just for you to know about. But it's more important about the domain and the company type. Product-based company definitely pays you lot more than other type of firms. And of course it's individual experience, right? Like I started as analytics manager pretty early, uh, and I've seen people, uh, not everyone's growth is straight, like this is the x, this is the y axis, right? Not everyone's, just to go back to that side, not everyone's growth trajectory is straight linear, right? For for a lot of us, it goes slowly, and it will skyrocket. It will have a U-shaped thing, right? So what happens is, based on individual experience, you might at different points in your career, your growth trajectory will be different. How much experience you have, like in this group, we have 20 years worth of experience, 1.5 years of experience, right? So depending on how much you have done things in your past and what kind of things you have done in your past, what kind of companies you have worked in, what are your interests, uh, your growth is determined a lot by that as well. Any questions on this? I see something. Can we know the criteria? How many years of experience do we need for this role? So as I said, uh, it's relative. So I can definitely tell you as a general guideline, and also based on my experience on my career growth. Uh, I pretty much entered this position in my third year, third and fourth year roughly. Then in the after that, for longest time, I was working this, and at this point, I can say with 9 years of experience, I'm at a senior level, senior manager position. Does it need to be like this? Can it be earlier or later? Definitely, but as a general guideline, that's what it follows, right? And there's a very important distinction which we'll discuss in some time about role and designation, right? Your your designation might be VP, you know, but you might still be just which is good, but you might still be just a Tableau developer or a Power BI developer. So a lot of companies like Citibank, even bigger banks like JP Morgan, Barclays, a lot of banks I've seen, you will see the opening as AVP and VP in data science or data analytics or, certain analytics domain, but they will ask for 3 years experience. So what we are discussing in here about not the designation, but as the role that you are actually in a role of data analytics manager, right? Your designation might just say analytics lead or data analytics, manager or data analytics associate manager, but your designation might be anything, but you are actually doing managerial work, either in terms of managing projects or either in terms of managing people is what we're discussing, and not just the designation. Any other questions on this slide? Okay, so I addressed the questions in the chat, so
Hello, sir.
let's move. Yeah, someone is saying something?
Yeah. So, for someone who is completely from non-IT, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so what should be the roadmap to get into this role? I mean,
Yeah, sure. I mean,
first,
basically the original domains and other. Okay, are you Prasanna, the person who asked the question?
no, I'm others.
Okay, so there's a couple of people. So let's address this. If you are not in IT, and I've helped, honestly, at this point, I can say I've helped hundreds of people move from HR, from finance. My own wife is in finance. I've helped her move into analytics. So from different designations, from different industries, to analytics, data and analytics roles. And how do we do that? Let's discuss that for a moment. How difficult is it to change the industry? Again, industry is different. So industry, you can be in this, and that's what would be preferable. If you have been working in, let's say, finance, I would say you keep the industry the same. And when I say industry, some people might refer it as domain. Okay, so if you are in finance, let's take an example. You have 3, 4, 5, 10 years experience in finance. It's going to be a lot easier for you to move into a finance analytics position, right? And it's always 90% of the times it's going to be a domain specific analytics role, right? It's going to be the financial analytics, going to be HR analytics, going to be marketing analytics, sales analytics, taxation analytics for now. There are roles which are into core IT, like into support roles where you are, uh, you know, just developing dashboards for the internal IT team, but that may be, 1% or 5% of the all job openings that we have, right? For the most part, it's going to be attached in a domain with a domain, and you should ideally focus on, if you have 5 years, 10 years, 2 years experience in a certain domain, get into. So if I have 5 years of domain in, let's say, HR, because a lot of HR reach out to me, they want to enter analytics because HR analytics is going to boom, right, in the next 5 years. So I tell them that if they are into HR, they should not try to, of course, not try to move into finance and or marketing or sales. Their core is in HR, and probably they might have done some, maybe even MBA in HR or some sort of other course in HR, right? So their domain experience is going to help them move into HR analytics, and they might have even done, certain project handling while they were in core HR jobs. Certain, they might have even lead the team, especially the folks who are experienced in here, right? They might have even led teams. So they need to use that domain experience, that work experience, along with what you are learning in the tech side of things and in this course, analytics manager role. Combine both of that and try to showcase your knowledge combining all of this into the interviews. How hard is it is, I think both the folks asked, Prasanna and the other person who was just speaking, how hard is it? For a lot of folks, it can be hard. A lot of folks, it can be simple. It depends on, again, the individual experience and kind of background you have, right? One thing is, and I'm trying to find the best way to portray this. For 90% of the people, there's no other option if you want to if you want to achieve, uh, yeah, I will discuss this one is something that we already mentioned, right? But for most of us, let's say it's a group of, we are roughly 20 people, right? Excluding me. Out of 20 people, let's say if there are only 20 people in the world, 18 of us will have to move into analytics manager position if we want to earn more, if we want to be successful in the analytics space or in any space in general, right? Very few people, like 2 out of 20 people, will actually be that level of coding experience that you can survive next 20 years just doing coding. And they are there, and total respect for them. I know I can't be one of them, and if you are one of them who can be that level of coding, should definitely target FANG, and you can earn this money and much more, just doing coding, right? But for 18 of other us who are here in this call, there's no other option apart from going to, analytics managerial position eventually or right away, you know, uh, for most of us. So it's a mandate in some ways that you lay down your foundation in data and target for data analytics managerial position, and in order to grow in your career. But if you think that IC role, I've seen a lot of IC folks earning a lot, doing coding since last 20 years, and that's amazing. You can target the FANG companies, right? Facebook, which is now Meta, which is called Mang now. Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, along with Microsoft. You should target these companies if you have. But even there, you will need some analytics managerial, experience and know-how and knowledge to even survive in those roles. Especially if you are like 15 years of experience doing coding, you will be managing projects. And this course is not just about managing team, about managing projects is as well. We are going to discuss agile. We are going to discuss Scrum and Kanban. How do you manage projects? How do you prioritize it? How do you set up roadmap? This you will be doing regardless of you are managing team or not, right? So when I say analytics manager, it is definitely about building and managing teams, but it's also about managing projects, right? Does it answer the question, Prasanna and other folks who questioned? And we'll discuss about analytics, HR analytics being less. Okay, so no response is a yes response, so I'll move forward. Yeah, certain domains pay more, certain domains pay less, right? The way I see Prasanna is that if you are in HR, you know, when so I've worked in HR analytics, so I know how much HR folks get paid, right? So, and they can get paid a lot. I'm not making this up. I've seen people earning in crores when they are in HR, of course, with 20 years of experience. But typically, it's a different domain, right? And the pay is different or less, what you are mentioning, right? Just in HR, I'm not talking about HR analytics. What happens is a lot of HR folks, let's say they have 10 years of experience and they are earning 7 to 10 lakhs. Learning analytics and entering HR analytics can double up their salary, right? So you have to see the relative growth in that field versus comparing it to that if HR analytics is paying less or more. So if you are in HR, you can earn double if you learn analytics. If you are in finance, you can earn double with what you are earning in finance. At one point, 5 years back, I used to tell people that you can double up your salary every 2 to 3 years, not just with analytics manager role, but in data analytics space in general, data science, data analytics, data engineering space in general. I don't say that now because the markets have changed, but definitely For folks in HR, it's a big catch that they can double up their salary very easily. So that's why even if it is paying less compared to finance analytics, for the HR folks, it's a big hook, right, to switch. So again, that ties back to if you have finance experience, finance domain knowledge, why would you want to move into HR analytics, right? You should target for finance analytics. So hope that answer that questions, Prasanna. And if it doesn't, we'll reach out to you. You can always
Uh,
ping me, and I'll share my email ID in the end as well. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, add me on LinkedIn. We can address this in the Q&A section as well in the end. Okay.
One more thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
there are several domains like other than finance, healthcare, where the analytics part is not so popular, right? Like construction and all. People
Yeah.
who want to make a transition into it. So,
Yeah.
what should it target? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. There are, of course, a lot of other domains. So there are plenty of domains.
completely what
Sorry.
people like me, I'm from construction domain, so
Yeah.
I just to make a complete
That's
transition.
that's
Yeah.
totally fine. That's totally fine. Uh, you would find a lot of like 70% of or for being conservative, 50% of the job openings, and we have an exercise after this as part of your homework or assignment, whatever you might want to call it, but where will be, you'll be reviewing certain JDs, but you would see that 50% of the, or actually even more of the JDs don't ask for particular domain experience, right? They would ask for they are going to gauge your experience on the work that you know. Do you know Tableau? Do you know Power BI? Do you know SQL? And do you know how to handle teams? Have you got any experience in handling projects? Can you lead cross-functional stakeholder management? Is what they're going to look at. And in there at Empower, though it was a finance domain, I was not only dealing with financial data. I was leading the data and analytics team in here, which catered to all the departments, starting from HR, finance, marketing, sales, product, servicing, operations, customer relations, all those underwriting, all those teams. So most of the openings that you would see are going to be domain agnostic, but does it still make sense for folks as like if you're in construction, I would say that you would still have some relevant experience in the work that you have done where you might have done some analysis or led a team, and it's a totally different field, right, when you're in construction. But you will have to find related things that you have done in the past which can be applied in here, and you don't need to, not a lot of let's say healthcare. Some people are in healthcare, and healthcare is booming as well, health tech is booming as well, but not a lot of not a lot of health tech analytics position you will see. But you'll need to find what are the openings in health tech, in analytics position, data analytics position, but also whatever you have learned in healthcare, how can you translate that into general positions which don't require, which are domain agnostic as well. So to sum it up short, you are going to find enough positions which are domain agnostic. So don't worry about it. I think the name was, sorry, I forgot who was asking the question, but yeah, hope that answers your question, and we can discuss more, in the Q&A section. Okay, any other question? Shall we move forward? Okay, let's move forward. Why you should definitely aim for this round? I think I briefly touched upon it. For most of us, it's a mandate, either now or after a few years. You need to, and this is, you know, not just about leading and managing teams, right? It's about managing the projects as well, dealing with stakeholders. Even as an individual contributor, you need to, deal with stakeholders, communicate the technical requirements into the dashboards or into the data modeling frameworks you are preparing, right? So regardless of where you are right now, you should definitely aim for this, because you create direct impact, into the business with the things that you are doing as an analytics manager, right? I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the overall satisfaction that you get. You can create the best code. right, in the world, but when it actually translates into actual impact, business impact, maybe the business impacted that it helped your manager present the numbers in a certain place, which was very important to that, right? It can be, in my case, when I was in Empower, it directly led to revenue increase, conversion increase. So we were into, you know, our metrics were more around how many people are, coming into the way, because I was there in also in product teams, how many people are coming in to our website, how many people we are retaining, at what, from what countries, we are seeing more engagement, in what, from what cities within India we are seeing more engagement. So all around product marketing, sales, analytics, right? So these things can directly impact help impact your business. So the impact part of it is very critical in analytics managerial position, right? So, and analytics manager position compared to IC roles will give you much more chance of creating an impact, right? Opportunity to work in cutting edge technology, and as cheesy as it may sound, but what happens is when you are in analytics managerial position, you get to drive a lot of business decision in terms of analytics, like uh, what all tools you should bring in, right? Do you need an ETL tool? Do you need, and it can be as simple as whether you need Excel or you need Google Sheets. It can be a bigger decision, like you need Tableau or you need Power BI. You need a some analytics tool which is more finance driven, or you need a general tool which caters to a larger set of domains, right? So you get to choose and you get to decide, or at least you get to present to the leadership most of the times that this is what we need, and you get to get to work on those technologies or lead people who will be working on those technologies, right? Okay, so key benefit, as I said, for most of us, it's the only path, right? So growth and visibility into the organization, competitive salaries, fast career progression, right? As fast as you can get into analytics position, right? As fast as you can get analytics managerial position. And when I say analytics, I mean data and analytics, right? There are certain roles which are just data specific, and certain roles which are just analytics specific, and mix of both. But as fast as you can get into a managerial position, managing projects or teams, your salaries, your growth, your visibility will increase accordingly, right? How becoming data analytics manager created significant value for me. Uh, yeah, I started pretty early, in this managing projects and managing people. In terms of the satisfaction you get of, getting things done, driving business impact, and of course, in terms of the monetary salary, monetary side of things as well, which I don't like to discuss a lot, but that's a hook, right? That's one of the things we work for, the monetary part of it. That's why I'm mentioning. So overall job satisfaction and, career growth, career progress, and the monetary side of things that you can experience. I don't think as an IC, you can definitely get all of that pretty fast as well, but it's difficult. It gets difficult for most of us, right? So the real satisfaction, overall satisfaction you can get is, is what should definitely motivate you to aim for this role. Uh, right? And last 6 years being in some sort of managerial, either in project management, delivery manager, and we'll discuss there are a lot of synonyms to data analytics manager. You might be called analytics product manager, analytics delivery manager, analytics project manager, or just analytics manager. All of them are mostly same things, and we are going to discuss. When it comes to analytics, most of it means the same. We are going to discuss what are the slight nuances in these roles at some point in this course, but it has created significant value for me in every way possible. So that's why you should definitely aim for this role. Any questions so far on everything we have discussed before we move on to the next slide? All right.
Hi,
And yeah, and if you
yeah,
can just say your name as well when you're asking the question, that would be helpful. Yeah.
hi, Anubha Madhu this side.
Okay.
I have a question like, what's the differences we can see as a managing role in a data analytics and with a technical, that what how much technical skill we needed for the managing role,
Yeah.
what challenges we can see. Yes, yeah.
Uh, so trying to understand your question also, and we'll break it down, Madhuri. We have certain things technical. So this is the next slide. We'll discuss it in more detail once we address your question, Madhuri. But there are, and this is not in the perfect sequence. We'll move things based on your interest and based on what we feel is important. But there are technical competency you need as a manager. So from what I understand, if you can clarify, Madhuri, what you are asking is that as a analytics manager, how much technical skills we need and what are the challenges that we
Yes,
face in terms
yeah.
of technical skills. It might be zero, it can never be zero, but it can be, let's say, 5%, or it can be 50%, or it can be 90%, depending on the kind of role that you are, kind of role, kind of company you are, right? At this point in this company, and I've recently switched 3 months back, it's it's more about giving input. So I can say it's just 5% development for me now. But in my previous company, Empire, right? Uh, I was the only person when I joined, and I was supposed to build the teams, right? So when till the point it took me 1 year to build the team, and for the first 6 months, I was doing the requirements gathering, I was doing the development, I was doing the is it required for you? Definitely not. So you won't apply for positions like this where it needs a lot of development, right? But I'm pretty hands-on. So, uh, for the first at least 3 4 months, I did the requirements gathering, I did the dashboard development, I did the ETL part of it as well, and eventually I built a team around it parallelly and passed it on the reins to them. And towards the end of while I was leaving the firm, I was more focused on, so I was handling the SQL, Tableau, and Alteryx in the end part of it. We got in Alteryx as well, right? And the inside, there's the inside function also I was handling. So my inputs were more around how can I translate the technical requirements into business requirements and how it can help the business, how I can, once we have built a dashboard, how we can make sure that people are actually using it, how I can enable the people who are reporting to me, people who are working under me, that they have sufficient projects and interesting projects that they want to work on based on their interests and their strengths, right? So, and Gen AI was the thing. So part of my role was how I can see integrate Gen AI into Alteryx, into Tableau, and into everything that we were doing, into analytics in general, right? So depending on your work X, depending on your interest, depending on the type of role you are applying, it can be, I've seen roles where it's minimal, 0 to 2% hands-on you would need, but I've seen roles where you might need and want to do a lot of development as well. And you did ask about challenges as well, right? So, yeah, I mean, again, depending on your interests and things, you might or might not find it challenging, right? Doing the development work into being an analytics position. When you are an analytics manager position, when you are an analytics manager, your focus will be more on driving growth in terms of if a dashboard has been made, has it been made best in the best way possible? Is it telling this story? Because not all not all the tech folks who are working under me were as creative or as had the knack of data storytelling as I had, right? So my job was more about telling them that this is the best graph, this is the way that it should be portrayed, this is what the business is looking at, and guide them on to make the metric in that way. I was doing minimal development towards the end. So since I come from that background, I didn't face much challenges, but being in an analytics manager position, other challenges that we would face is what we discuss, right? Common challenges. You need to trust the team. That's the mantra, right? And one thing we'll discuss later as well, and I'm sure the folks who are in this call will attest to it, who have much more experience, even more experience than me, general experience than me, right? There are folks who have 20 years of experience. They will attest that if you are managing a team, always don't be afraid that people who are going to work under you are going to be better than you. You should hire people who are better than you, right? And that's they are going to work good, you are going to get into good picture, right? So always try to build good teams, trust them, and make sure that while you are hiring, that don't be afraid that they are better than you. And of course, other things that and that's not specifically Madhuri to what you asked, like challenges that we face as a analytics manager, but you're going depending on your role. Like right now, I'm doing team handling. I'm not doing any development in here at Avalara, but I'm doing team handling, managing, building and managing team. I'm doing project management as well. I'm doing product management as well. They are external facing products because I'm a senior analytics manager. Designation is senior product manager, data and analytics, data infrastructure and analytics, but it is essentially a senior data analytics manager position in a product team, right? So I'm doing a bit of product management as well, where there are certain analytics product, there are certain analytics products, external analytics products, and I'm helping them to tell what's the best way to define and make that product as well. So depending on your role, you will be handling a lot of things. You'll be handling one or multiple things, and that can be a challenge, right? Because it's not just about doing the thing, it's about getting things done, right? Okay. A lot.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Okay. 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 About the curriculum, they are not in the exact sequence we might end up doing things, right? But we are going to discuss what are the first steps into, and we have discussed this a bit, and part of what we discussed today will fall under that. But what are the first steps if you want to become an analytics manager, right? How do you get into that mindset about compared to an IC role? How do you get into that mindset of coming into a data analytics position, either now or maybe a year later or in the future? But because there are people from different age group and work age group, when I say work age, work experience, right? People from different backgrounds, the different work ex, right? So for for different people, this might be different, but it's about getting into the zone, right? Which we covered briefly. But once you are into the zone, I need to prepare you for the skill sets that you need to know as an analytics manager, right? First thing, and I have sequenced it for now based on what my experience has been, but we'll shuffle things up as based on your interest and based on what we find important later. But when I joined, again, the first thing I was asked was, okay, you need to build a team and you need to build an analytics, data analytics function. But what are the tools that you would need? So they said we need a dashboard in the end, but we need certain dashboards in the end. But it's not just about the visualization tool, right? You need to either have a SQL structure or need to have some data prep tool, Tableau Prep, Alteryx, or some sort of tool, right? So it was about working with the vendors, working with different vendors like Alteryx, Talent, dbt. These are the data prep tools, right? Working with these vendors and working on the other end, working with the Tableau, Power BI. Tableau and Power BI is pretty much what I looked at in terms of visualization. How do you approach them? Approach these vendors. How do you convince the leadership that these are the tools we would need? And what are the documentation in case we need to ask them? How do you drive the calls for evaluating and finalizing a data analytics tool? Once you have done this, and each of these broad modules will have dozens of subtopics within it, which we'll discuss in the upcoming sessions. But once you are in the zone, once you have decided what tools you need to build the teams, right? How do you take interviews? How do you convince what kind of people and how many people you need, and how do you manage them eventually, right? Manage the people, not managing projects. So project management is something we'll discuss later in the course. But yeah, once you're in the zone, have finalized the tools, build the team. Now with the team, how do you set up the analytics infrastructure? And you are not going to do this entirely. It's going to be a team, right? So you have analytics, you have Alteryx, let's say, for data prep, and you have Tableau. So now what do you do? How do you set up the vision and strategy for the process? Now you have these tools. You need to convince the management, right? That this is how it's going to help. You had hundreds of Excel reports. Alteryx is going to automate all of them. there was at one point, and I'm not making this up, there were reports, Excel-based report for our HR analytics team I was working, which used to take roughly 3,000 hours a year. All of this were translated to 0 minutes, 0 seconds, whatever you might want to call it. With zero, once we automated it, it was taking zero effort, 0 seconds worth of work. So that level of impact you can bring using Alteryx or using as simple as something like, Excel macros. It's about automation and bringing efficiency, right? So you need to uh, translate or convince the management that this is how you are going to, these tools are going to help, right? So, and that will be done through the strategy and vision that you set up with the team, right? With the tools and with the team. So we are going to discuss about that. Managing team is one thing, but managing project is one thing. When you have So I was catering to all the groups: marketing, sales, product, finance, underwriting, customer relations in my past role, right? And you will be attacked with hundreds of requirements. Marketing might have their own requirements, finance might have their own requirements, and for everyone, their own project is the most critical thing to the organization, right? So they are going to say that our project is most important, but how do you cut through the all the noise around and work with the leadership to prioritize the project is what we are going to discuss in data analytics project. And how do you prioritize? What are the factors which will help you prioritize? How do you create a roadmap? A lot of teams, agile is booming now. I'm not sure if everyone is aware here, but there are a couple of project management philosophies. Waterfall and Agile is among key of them. Agile is something that you will need to know, regardless of data analytics manager position or any. If you are working now at this time, you definitely need to know about Agile, right? Agile and Scrum, and how do we. Now we won't dive a lot into it. It can be a 100-day session on its own, this full topic, but we are going to spend some time, good amount of time, on how you can manage the project and prioritize projects, right? How you can use Scrum, how you can use the Scrum calls, how you can use prioritization techniques to manage a project. Implement end user interface and increasing user engagement. Once you have build a team, set up this strategy, and you are handling projects, and your team and you are working on projects, how you can make sure that so building a data model is one thing, but you need to make it consumable for the users, right? A lot of time it's a dashboard, right? But it's not just about building the dashboard. How you can increase the user engagement after I've created a dashboard, or my team has created a dashboard, and it has been just a one-time thing and people have not even touched it after that. So how do you develop a system around it to make sure that people are actually using your products, and it's going to be tied to your success in data analytics manager, right? How you can build systems that are reusable, and people are actually coming back. You are making a use case for people to come back again. So how do you track the engagement? What are certain metrics that will help you track the engagement? And you are not going to tell the leadership that, hey, people are using my dashboard. You are going to, being in analytics, you are going to present numbers that, these many footfalls we have in a dashboard. This is the efficiency increase that I'm seeing based on the reports that I've done. It can be a very high level data model, a very complex data model, or it can be a very complex, beautifully set up dashboard, or it can be as simple as a Excel report. But you need to drive you need to communicate and translate it to the leadership and how that work is. So I have one insight person as well, and we'll discuss more what that role entails. But part of her job is to just, at a high level, make PowerPoint presentations around, how has the numbers increased or decreased in certain domains and certain segments, right? And we have a monthly inside flagship call, and she presents there, right? So part of this job, analytics manager, and I help her in, she uses Tableau to build the charts and all. So part of the job is about, making sure people find value in the things, and there are certain strategies that you can do to, showcase it to the right people at the right time. So that's what we'll discuss in this. Technical competency, how much technical knowledge do you need? And there's a different kind of tech apart from, knowing a bit of SQL and Tableau and those things. You need the other technical competencies also as a manager that you would need, right? So you need to know Tableau, but you don't need to also know that what are the fundamentals behind those tools. For Tableau or Power BI, it will be data storytelling, for something like data modeling in SQL or in Alteryx, it needs to be what are the best principles or what are the best way to design a data structure, right? You need to know a bit more about fundamentals, which data storytelling is not something that a IC person might be worried about. But as an analytics manager, you need to know that what's the best way to showcase a KPI, right? Is it something a broad number would do, or is it something that a trend would work better? What does the leadership want? So technical competencies for manager is what we'll discuss in here. Super important, internal and external stakeholder management. There might be internal stakeholders, there might be external clients, there might be cross-functional collaboration. As an analytics manager, I was dealing with all sort of teams, right? Starting from operations, HR, finance, marketing, sales, right? So how do you deal with technical and non-technical people? Because you need to work with them, especially for people like, people like Prasanna, who asked, for sorry to put you on spot, Prasanna, but who are, or not Prasanna, actually, sorry. There was a person who asked about, construction background, right? So for folks like that, you might be entering into position which is not domain specific, right? Though I was working in a fintech firm, but I was working with all kinds of data, right? So how do you deal with non-technical people who are like just doing calls, customer relations, just do calls with customers, right? Their customer support, and we develop analytics for them as well. How do you deal with people like them versus how you deal? I have made projects for dashboards, and I mean led projects and dashboards for technical folks as well, who are part of the engineering team. What are the difference between that? So that's what we'll discuss in here, right? We need to definitely build your resume for if you want to enter analytics manager position. What's the difference when it comes to resume? And this will be individual for, if you have 20 years of experience, it will look different. If you have 1.5 years of experience, it will look different. But as a general guideline, what all things will include. I have my resume. I'm not making this up. I have There's a way, depending on your years of experience, you need to build your resume. Resume is 99% of your, or 90% of your success in not just data analytics manager position, but any position. People don't understand the value of it. Resume is 90% of your career switch, right? Career switch or a job switch. People focus too much on other things, but resume is the most important things. If you have the right resume, it's going to start a funnel. You are going to get more calls. The most important thing is to get more calls, right? Once you get more calls, there are more chances to crack the interviews, get into the interviews and crack the interviews. If you don't have a good not if you don't have a good resume, the HR is not, the first level is the HR screening, right? Your HR is not going to be interested. He's not going to pass on to the actual data analytics, to the actual, reporting manager whom you will be reporting, right? So resume, LinkedIn is, in fact, on a fun fact, even this course that I'm taking, I was reached out through LinkedIn, right? So I don't think after 5 years resume is going to be there. It's all going to be LinkedIn, right? For now it's resume, but we'll need to make a resume kind of structure in your LinkedIn profile as well, so that we are preparing for your analytics manager. And you know you need to have a solid LinkedIn profile regardless of whatever position you are in. So we'll develop that, and specifically how do we tweak the resume and LinkedIn and other social media profiles for data analytics position, right? Interview preparation, so tech round which you have done so far, right? Like you have I believe what Samir told me, that you have already learned about, all the tech side of things, like Tableau, Power BI, Alteryx, SQL. I'm not fully aware of about the tech curriculum, but those things you have already done. But you have to understand, for 90% of the interviews, those are just 2 rounds. You have to deal with the HI screening. You have to deal with the reporting manager round. Of course, there will be a couple of tech rounds. There is going to be a leadership round. There is going to be salary negotiation round. So in a bunch of roughly 3 to 5 rounds that you will have, only a couple of them, 1 or 2 of them, is going to be tech round. This module is going to tackle all the other rounds that you will face for the analytics manager position, right? Which is equally important. Tech rounds are definitely important, but if you clear the tech round and not able to clear the other rounds, then you won't be able to make a successful switch, right? So that's equally important. That's what we'll focus. And of course, there are hands-on activities and case studies, right? Uh, yeah, so some of this are more functional in the sense that resume building, interviews. We are going to, do these in between these as well, multiple times, so that by the end of this course, we have looked into how to build a resume or how to tackle interviews multiple times and not leaving it for the end. So again, this is not in the exact sequence we'll follow, but roughly, broadly, this is going to be what we do. Any questions so far? And just a quick time check. We joined at 10, right? So we have time. Okay. But yeah, I think I'll take some more time, roughly 15 more minutes, and then I'll open it up for Q&A. If folks have questions, feel free to stay. Else, I'll be there for answering the questions. But any questions on this so far before I move on to the next slide? And, you can be, no question is silly, is as cheesy as it gets. We have heard it from childhood. But if there is any question that you have, and it can be very simplistic, you can ask me either now or on the end. Duration of the course, you know, we are still, working on that, but it's going to be, uh, we are going to cover all these modules. 30 hours worth of session is what I'm being told at, but it might be less or it might be more, as we are, developing the modules and everything. Most of it is done, but a lot of thing is still being prepared. So 30 hours worth of session is what they told. So yeah, in which couple of hours, which we have already covered today, right? Which we'll already cover today. So we have already started, right? And it will include Q&As, it will include interviews and a lot of things. So that's what we are looking at, 30 hours. Yeah. And depending on how we are progressing, we can increase or decrease the number of sessions and the hours worth of session that we are doing. I'm doing taking up this course, not for anything else, but only for my passion of helping others, right? So I don't want to increase or decrease the course just because, it should help you in a way that it should be done, right? So we'll gather feedback, we'll listen to you, and we'll see if it needs more session, we'll increase it, else we'll, see what's the best way to, take the sessions. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, thanks, Vinod, for asking the question. Okay, assignment. Now, this assignment is very critical in a lot of ways, and every session, at least, so we are going to do this session on weekends, right? And every weekend, mostly either on Saturday or Sunday, and one of the sessions, at least, I'll give you an assignment. In the next call, whenever we are doing the next call, we will be discussing the assignment first before we start with anything else, right? And all these this course is these are all life lessons, right? Like building your resume, handling interviews. These are all life skills, right? So These will be very specific to data analytics manager position, but how do you search for analytics manager jobs, right? It's a life skill you definitely need to know, right? So I would want you to search for at least 20 to 25 or as many, analytics managerial jobs, JDs essentially, on platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, Naukri. If you ask me, there's only one real platform called LinkedIn. There's no other job portal. There are hundreds of other job portals, but I have done three careers, not career switches, job switches, and it has all been through LinkedIn. So I'm a big fan of LinkedIn, but I've seen people, I've, is someone saying something? Okay. So, but I've seen Indeed and Naukri work good as well. So pick a platform that you like, preferably LinkedIn, select 20 to 25, search for analytics managerial positions, job openings, and try to identify 5 to 10 key non-technical skills that you find. A lot of these positions will, and we'll just do quick round of couple of JD's review right now in on LinkedIn. Okay, but what I would want you to search for analytics managerial roles, try to find 5 to 10 non-technical skills, and I'm not just talking about non-technical skills like communication and simplistic things like that. There are hardcore non-technical skills that you need, which we just discussed, right? Cross-functional collaboration, conflict resolution, prioritization, Scrum, Agile, project management. These are also non-technical skills, right? Evaluation of tools, managing a team. Right. What are the 5 to 10 non-technical skill you find most often repeated in these, and skills and responsibilities, right? At a lot of times it might not be just one word, right? One skill, but it might be a chain of thought that they have put into the JD. So just find top 5 to 10 things that appear most frequently in the 20 to 25 uh, JDs that you find uh, on LinkedIn and other platforms. And once you have gone through those, and once you have identified those 5 to 10 non-technical skills, try to bucket them. So from that 5 to 10 non-technical skills, let's say 10, after the JD, try to categorize, and we are going to go through on why this is important in the next session, but try to bucket it as, so you have 10, maybe three of them are somewhat easy for you, depending on your experience, right? Maybe three of them are somewhat challenging, so you have some exposure to it, or you not necessarily exposure. It's good if you have exposure, but you know what is it about, right? And but there still there's some room to grow, so that's somewhat challenging, and there are things that's going to be very hard for you, somewhat hard, right? So for people who are 1.5 years of experience in this group, managing a team might be hard for you, right? uh, for people who and who have folks who have 1 year of experience, they might be very good with communication, so talking to people, stakeholder management might be something easier for them. So depending on what are your interests and where you are in your career, these things will differ. But I want you to do, and I'll pass on this slide as well. I'll mostly put this into the chat right now too, and or ask Samir and uh, the other person who joined in the start to pass on this thing as well. But yeah, I'll pass on this assignment to you. Please do this assignment. One of the few of the things to mention, which we'll just discuss as well, is role versus designation, which we briefly touched upon. There are going to be some openings which would say senior manager, VP, AVP, director, you know, but those are your designation. You need to see the actual role. By the role, I mean what is the actual work that you are going to do. If it says VP, AVP, but it's about development work, so that's not going to be part of this. It's if it only entails development work like SQL, Python, you know, Alteryx, Tableau, Power BI, if it only entails that, then it's not an analytics managerial role, though the designation is analytics manager. It's the role is not. So this activity and this course is not primarily focusing on that, because that's being captured in the other side of the course that you have already done or already doing, right? and there will be roles with different names. Try to search with, and we'll just look into couple of them right now, couple of JDs right now, but so that I can help you on how this activity needs to be done. But they are going to be names with, not every analytics manager role is going to be called analytics manager, data and analytics. When I say analytics manager, I mean data and analytics, right? And we'll see the difference, what I mean by data and analytics, data manager, analytics manager, and everything in the course moving forward. But try to search it with different names: analytics manager, analytics lead, data manager, business intelligence manager, business intelligence lead. Um, there can be other variations as well: analytics project manager, data project manager, analytics product manager. Now that can be slightly different. So product management you can leave for the moment. But yeah, analytics project management, analytics delivery management, analytics delivery manager, delivery analytics delivery lead, data delivery lead. These are all the synonyms. Sorry to bombard with you with so many names, but these are all the names that you will find, and these are all the positions that we are targeting in this role, right? So try to search with all these names. So let me just pause for a moment while I open my LinkedIn to walk you through we'll just go couple of JDs, and then we'll proceed with Q&A. But if you have any questions so far while I'm opening my LinkedIn, please go ahead and feel free to ask and we can address them. I've stopped my screen share, right? Just to check. Okay. So I'll assume it as yes. Let me open my
Yes.
LinkedIn. Um, okay, I'm not logged in. So let me just log in. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm opening my LinkedIn meanwhile. Jobs. Yeah, I'm one of the data analytics voice, 5 times data analytics voice in because a lot of folks will going through the LinkedIn profile building as well. But something that I forgot mentioning uh, in the start, and something that you would see in my LinkedIn, that I'm one of the data analytics boys. I have, as I mentioned, close to roughly a decade worth of experience in this, right? And I have all the major Tableau certifications, Alteryx certifications. So if that's an area you want my help with, also I can help, because that's part of the job search, right? Okay, I have my LinkedIn open now. Okay. Okay, just a moment. Let me share my screen. No questions, right? For now. So let me just so why I mentioned about my LinkedIn credentials and everything, the top one and everything, because you will see those things once I'm, uh once I'm going to about my certifications and everything. So they are going to stop that top voice things as well. Okay. Uh Soon. So yeah. So we have the the jobs portal in here, and what we are going to search for is, let's start with just analytics manager, and we are just going to wrap this up quickly. I mean the job searching, but I just want to give you a good idea. So the first one that we are manager business intelligence, this just I searched for analytics manager, but this correctly showed up. So business intelligence managers are also what we are targeting at, right? So business-minded leader, business acumen is what we discussed, right? Team collaboration, working with different kind of teams, work closely with business leader. Strategy and vision is what we discussed. Build requirements, acceptance criteria. This is part of the project management, right? This is a perfect example of a analytics manager role, right? Manage product artifacts, communicate effectively, align with different teams, champion the expansion, uh, right? And so this is what we are looking at, versus there will be some roles where most of it will focus on. So hopefully when you search, you'll get an idea that a lot of it will require these key skills that we are already covering, but you are going to find so manager business intelligence, you are going to find it with different business performance manager, business performance analytics manager, you are going to find it with different names, is what you should also look at. Try to search it with different names, but also try to see, there will be certain JDs where you won't see the typical recruit, hire, and trim team members which will cover. You are going to see that they are just, let's just say VP data analytics, right? A lot of it, and specifically if I'm able to find one from Citibank, that will be good, right? A lot of it are just for the namesake VP, right? Citibank, Citibank VP. But they might not be, yeah, nothing showing up right now, but a lot of times they might not be the core data analytics roles that you are, data analytics managerial roles, and it might be just development work. Uh, yeah, so don't focus on them, focus on the ones that are, try to search for those examples as well. Barclays, Citibank, JP Morgan, they will be the one, who are like this one. This is an example of what I was talking about. This is a associate director role, but trust me, this is just a developer role, right? That's the difference between this was the example. You are seeing my screen, right? Am I sharing my screen,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
okay. All right. So this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. They are saying director, which looks very good on your resume and very good on a LinkedIn profile. But trust me, the salary is going to be as per developer, which can be a good salary, but I'm just saying this is not an analytics manager role, because they are asking you development experience only. They are asking you, different tools. Daiku is one of the data modeling tool, right? Although this is not a data manager, it's going to be, Git version control. It's all technical. If you see troubleshooting issues, identifying bugs, you know, and then some communication skills and thrown in the end. But this is going to be a development work, right? So this is exactly, if it says director also, don't go for it. Don't for the assignment that I have shared, this is not the role that we are looking at, and this is not the course for this role. The other course that you did right here at Upshala, that's the course which will help you target this, if this is what you are looking at. But the course that we are doing, everything else that we are seeing in here, SurveyMonkey, I think this is the one that we just saw, right? Become a leader, growth finance, this is, we have already. Let's just look at one more example of a good example of analytics manager. Develop a strong rapport with the client, manage operational workflow, manage a team, mentor the team, hold regular meetings, build a team. This is what we are looking at, and 90% of it is what you will find. Develop understanding of customers, help prioritization, work with customers, partner with engineering, partner with different teams, right? This is what we are looking at, right? When we talk about core roles in analytics managerial, try to search with different names, definitely. Let me go back to the slide. I don't think I have any more slide, but let me just, while I'm on this call, I'll ask, so have this, let me share it as a screenshot. I'll ask Samir to also share this with you, but let me share this with you right away as well, just so that you have in place. I'll ask Samir to share this full slide with you along with the assignment, but let me just put it there. I'm sharing it with you in text as well as in an image. So we are going to discuss that. Why is it important is something we'll discuss in our next session, but you can already see value in this assignment, right? In your job search and your profile building, right? Okay, so I don't have any more slides. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Uh, Else, feel free to, drop off from the call. If folks want to wait uh, for others to go and ask question personally, I'll be there for some more time. So happy to do that as well. But any questions? Any questions or any feedback, anything? And, part of the assignment is for you finding the non-technical skills is, if there is something that we find that is not there in our course, we'll include it, right? So it's going to be super practical. life skills that we are going to develop in terms of the analytics managerial job search, right? And providing you, equipping you with the tools to crack this role. So yeah, uh, any questions, or we are good? Any thoughts on how did you feel about the course?
Yeah, hi. I have a question. My name is
Sure.
Riaz.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Riaz.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask is, what is the key difference between an analytics manager and a data science manager?
Yeah, I mean, this course is going to address the analytics manager roles, but everything that we do in here is going to be transferable to any data role. It can be data science. So data analytics deal with, and maybe it's a good point, and I'll make a note. Maybe we can discuss it in one of the session in more detail, but data and analytics deal with data infrastructure, data modeling, dashboarding, data visualization, creating logics for all of this and everything, right? Versus data science is more about building models, uh, building the machine learning models, and solving the problems that we have. It's about solving problems. So data analytics is about solving problems through these tools that I mentioned. Data science is solving problems through the data science tools. Data science tools will be your, all the machine learning models that you have: scikit-learn, TensorFlow, XGBoost, and this course is definitely, though this is called data analytics manager program, but a lot of the skills that we are going to discuss, where's that slide, this one, lot of skills that we are going to discuss, are going to be transferable to any data role, data science role, machine learning engineer role, machine data science manager role, anything, all of those area as well. But at the core, at the heart of it, is going to address any data role or any analytics role or mix of it. Yeah.
And as far as reporting is concerned,
Yeah.
as a data analytics manager, well versed should be in a reporting tool? I mean, you should
Yeah.
be a good developer.
Not necessarily. Not no. See, 5 out of 10 jobs are not going to ask you hardcore. Uh, they are, So I have recently switched. I have fresh experience. I have given around 50 interviews, right? Because I wanted to make I wanted to learn about more about delivery management, analytics, delivery management, analytics product. I wanted to work in that field, so I gave a lot of interviews in terms of different types of roles as well, because I wanted to do things in a certain way at this point in my career, so I have fresh knowledge. uh what happens is, sorry, was that Mukul who asked that question?
No,
No,
it's
Mukul
me.
just
It's me,
can
Riaz.
you say that question again so that we can break it down into pieces?
No, I just asked about how well versed data.
How well versed we need to be in terms of the tools that we have, right? So we'll break it down. So having just given the interviews, I can tell that 50% of the interviews won't take your technical interviews as such for analytics manager position, right? They are going to ask you about, and that's what we are more than 50% for me, because I'm a senior person in terms of the analytics manager space. For me, 90% of the interviews didn't have a technical interview. Whereas, they were more focused on how did you lead a project? How did you lead the team? How did you ensure that this data analytics conflict is resolved? 90% of the interviews are focused on that. So do you need technical skills for this? 100%. If you don't know what's SQL and what's Tableau, at least some of it, you can't lead a project or you can't lead a team, right? But do you need a certification out of that? No. Do you need hardcore years of experience building dashboards? No. But good know-how will be important so that you can answer the impact questions in those interviews. Uh, and again, as I said, 70%, 80% of the interviews are not going to asking you about technical SQL, right? Make you write technical SQL codes, or asking you about how to write an LOD function or DAX in Power BI, right? Okay. Does that answer your question, Riaz?
Yes. I just have one more question. Really sorry
Sure.
for
Yeah,
but
go ahead. That's what I'm being here for, right? Go ahead and
so
ask.
where does our, for example, for an IC, a particular coding language can be our core expertise. So for this kind of a position, the managerial role, what would be our core expertise in? What does employer expect from?
Core expertise is what we are going to discuss, right? In this, if you are seeing this slide, I'm presenting my screen, right? So for a IC experience, your core expertise, as you said, is coding, right? For a analytics managerial position, and that's what we just saw in the a couple of JDs for analytics manager, right? It's about how do you build the teams, how you build the infrastructure, how do you evaluate the tools, how do you so in a nutshell, a lot of it is going to be project management, right? Project management and team handling. So you are going to receive a lot of analytics requests. How do you prioritize it? How do you work with different groups to address which things to be worked first, right? Which project to be worked first? How do you guide the people in best design principles, best data analytics principles? How do you work with it? So most of these jobs are not going to ask you for technical things, but they are going to either ask that how would you create impact while you are managing the team? How would you prioritize? So project management is going to be a key. Project management and team handling are going to be your core skills in terms of Riaz, if I have to answer in a nutshell. And we are going to discuss all of that. And while you are doing this assignment, right, you'll get more sense of it that everything that they have mentioned also in the couple of JDs that we saw, we are going to cover all of that. But at its heart, it's going to be building and managing teams and data analytics project management. These are going to be your core tools. Yeah.
Okay, got that. Thank you.
Okay. I think Mukul had a question. Can you share your email ID? Meanwhile, I'll do that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have one.
yeah, go ahead. Someone had any question?
Uh, yeah, I do have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh,
I
uh,
just shared my email
so
ID as well, anubhav.agarwal2493@gmail.com. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. You had some question.
right, I have one question only. So
Yeah,
currently, I'm working as a product manager.
yeah,
It is a SaaS company,
yeah,
Tata's company.
yeah,
I know that non-IT skills, team handling,
yeah.
stakeholders management,
Okay.
requirement freezing, and all these things. Right? But
Yeah,
in terms of IT, right,
yeah,
SQL, Power BI, what
yeah,
I've learned from Upshala only.
yeah.
So,
Got it.
is this advisable to move to data analytics manager profile,
I am in
with
the
good
data
hands-on
anal.
experience?
Sorry, go ahead. Didn't mean to
Uh,
interrupt. Go ahead.
No issues. So it is
No, can you
advisable.
say that last part? I started speaking, so is
No
it
issues.
advisable to move, being in product, is it advisable to move into a analytics manager position is what you're asking, right?
Right.
I'm an analytics product manager, Mukul, just for your
Oh,
information. Yeah, I'm an analytics product manager. So part of my so while it says senior analytics product manager, my past designation have been, analytics manager, analytics delivery manager. The recent switch I've made, I'm an analytics product manager, but it's a mix of things. When you are in analytics product management or analytics project management or analytics delivery management, you are not doing core product work, like you are not releasing products and working with the engineers in that way. Your work will be more on working with the data engineers. It's going to be a lot of project management, when we talk about analytics product manager. So my job, if I have to break it down, and I'll keep it short because there are other questions as well, we can take it up later. My job is three phase. There is a team of data analysts, data visualization folks, SQL analysts whom I lead, and I'm part of the product team, right? So a lot of product and sales and marketing requests that comes, these folks handle that, and I'm supposed to, lead them and give them guidance on what's the best way to do it, and make sure that they have enough projects. Uh, and the other part of the work is, the project management side of things, where setting up the Jira, making sure that, and there is a person I'm hiring who is going to help me with that as well. But as of now, I'm only doing it, setting up the Jira, setting up the, we follow, we don't follow a Scrum board, we follow a Kanban board, but making sure that we have set number of things for every quarter and we are moving them into done, and we are taking in the new process. What should be the prioritization on, how we are selecting the projects based on the impact and seasonality of the business, what's the best way to identify that. And of course, there is a slight product things as well that I do. So as I mentioned is starting, right? There are internal and external products, analytics products, and they take my guidance in what's the best way to design those products, right? So as an analytics, when you are moving from product manager to analytics product manager, a lot of it is going to be project management, which you might be already aware, the Jira and Scrum and those
Right,
things,
right,
right?
right.
But how do you implement that in the analytics space? How do you implement that into, because I'm managing a team as well, right? I'm doing a typical analytics managerial job as well, building and
Mm.
managing team. So you'll need that skill, even though I'm in an analytics product manager, I'm not doing core product work. It's more, so I rephrase it to everyone that senior analytics product manager is just the designation. The actual role is senior
Yeah,
analytics manager in a product team.
right.
Right. That's how I reframe it. So you should definitely target for that. Coming from product, you should target for product analytics role. So that's one of the areas, right? Apart from sales, marketing, finance, healthcare, HR analytics, there is product analytics. And last few years with me has been analytics manager in a product roles only, product analytics roles only. Yeah. So that's the area you should target. And there are plenty, and product works very closely with marketing and sales. So you can, yeah, and you would
Mm.
know that more, that,
Right,
right?
right, right.
So a lot of it, you can search for marketing and sales manager analytics roles as well. Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
No, no. Thank you.
Hi, Anubhav.
Sure.
This is Sheikh here.
Okay.
So, my question would be mostly coinciding with everybody here.
Yeah.
See, everybody comes in from a different background or a domain that they've been working with. So
Yeah.
I come from a completely HR as a domain, specifically where my amount of experience has been around 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Where I also been as a director and a co-founder for my own startup, but eventually
Good.
that didn't work out. Now I'm here at a career transition mode that I would want to get into data analysis. So now the question remains here is which also resonates with everybody around here
Yeah.
is definitely the target when somebody is hiring you
Yeah.
would leverage across the kind of skill sets that you're coming from.
Yeah.
But the primary question is how does that also like say for an example how would anybody who's hiring you would see you would they come across you seeing you as a layman, or would they also take in consideration about your past experience and
Yeah.
put that into perspective with everything that you're doing through Apshala now? Because definitely
Yeah.
as a HR myself, I
Yeah.
see somebody getting into data analytics.
Yeah.
I see them as a fresher, totally fresher. I mean, he wouldn't
Yeah.
have any experience, but any
Yeah.
experience that they come from is differently altogether. Uh,
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. To sum up your question is, how is it challenging to get into data analytics or data? So is your question only about getting into the data analytics, or is your question more about data analytics managerial role?
Everything that we've been
Everything.
going through around here now.
Everything, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a fair question. That's a good question, actually. So it's not just about HR. It's about you have, let's say, because it's going to be different for different people. I've seen much more experienced people in here as well, but for people like you, and
Mhm.
other folks as well who don't have a background in analytics,
Mm.
right? So how challenging is it going to be to enter analytics or enter data analytics or data analytics manager position? That's your question, right? So, definitely, you need to target HR analytics role. Don't look for anything else. Because HR MIS, HR reporting, HR analytics, HR data operations, these are the roles you should target. And depending on your past experience, some might be easier than other. I have seen people earning 25 lakh just based on data reporting role. And when I say data reporting, certain Excel work and maybe just Tableau, no coding required. I've seen people learning in HR analytics. So because I have worked in HR analytics, so I can tell you that as well. My lot of initial few years with Deloitte was into HR analytics, right? So I can tell that. So focus on, uh, leveraging your past experiences. So any HR analytics role, opening that you would see, they are not going it's highly unlikely that they are going to take a person who doesn't have experience in HR, right? It's definitely HR knowledge is going to be definitely there, right? So that's one thing that you have already, along with with your 10 years of experience in HR, along with the tech course that you have already done, the tech side of things, and this course, you need to position yourself that, so when you were in HR, right, you might have handled some projects, HR projects. You might have prepared some metrics or captured some metrics. You might have used some dashboard, not development. I'm saying you might have referred to some Excel reports or Tableau reports for your daily work, right? You might have, even decided that these are some metrics that, as a manager, HR manager, I need to look into what's the turnover, what's the retention, how many people are leaving, how many people are coming, how many people I have onboarded, some metrics. So you need to leverage your past experience. You need to leverage the courses that you are doing with Apshala right now and prepare a profile and target a profile, prepare and target to a profile which will kind of make sense with the knowledge that you have got in the past and things that you have learned it. And a lot of it is about, how do you position yourself during an interview? So if it requires, let's say, 5 years of experience in HR analytics, yeah, you have HR experience and you have experience in managing teams. You have experience. I'm talking about specifically about you, Sheikh, since you have
Sure.
10
Yeah.
years of experience. You have experience in managing teams, I'm assuming. You have
Yes, I have.
experience in looking into reports. You have experience in analyzing those reports, HR specific reports. Maybe you were not doing development, but you have experience in finalizing the metrics. You have experience in turnovers and KPIs and those things, right? Retention and all these onboarding metrics, HR metrics, right? So
Yes.
you do have experience in HR. You need to prepare, and that's where I am going to help you in the resume and interview sessions that we will be doing, right? On how do you position yourself, that how do you position yourself that the past experience that you have got is totally relevant to the data analytics, data science, data managerial role that you are applying for? Yeah.
Sure thing. Yeah. Great. Thank you, Anubhav.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question? I see a question in the chat from Akshay. Hello, Anubhav. Uh, yeah. Uh, it was a direct message. I think folks you can send because are you able to see the chat window? Just asking everyone. I'm sharing my chat window right now. Is everyone able to see or is it not visible? The chat window, meeting chat. Are you able to see that?
No, we see the slide.
Slide, right? Okay, so that's good because I see a lot of direct message, and if you're able to see the direct messages, then there's no point of sending direct messages. But since you are not able to see, if there are folks, if you want me to, wait after the call, address some questions that you want to ask personally, I'm there as well. But yeah, uh, got it. Okay, so. Okay. There is one question from Akshay. In terms of career and package, what role would be better? Is it manager role or technical role, senior data analyst? Senior, so senior data analyst is a IC role, right? And it ties back to what we discussed earlier, Akshay. What happens is 9 out of 10 people, we don't have any other option eventually in our career to move towards a managerial role, right? So while you can target fan companies and they earn in crores, I'm not making this up, right? There are people who are earning in crores being in an IC position, and if you are that good, you know, you can target that, you know. But for the most of us, managerial position is the way to go, not just in terms of money, definitely in terms of money, but in terms of overall satisfaction of creating an impact as well. Hope that answers your question, Akshay. Can you provide your email address again by selecting to everyone? Oh my goodness, I didn't send it to everyone. Okay, yeah, my bad. Everyone in meeting, I'm going to send, I think I just send it privately to the person who was Anubhav.Agarwal. And just to confirm, Anubhav.Agarwal 2493. Let me just address one more thing. Anubhav.Agarwal2493 @gmail.com. Okay. Anubhav.Agarwal2493. I sent the assignment earlier as a screenshot. Oh my God, I just sent it to Vinod, this thing, the assignment. So let me just pass it on to everyone. Just give me a second. There are 4 folks who have already left, so I'll try to get. Yeah, they have attended slides, so they are aware about the assignment, but I'll try to ask Samir to send it. So I just sent the assignment screenshot, and I have also sent. Are you able to download, folks, the assignment screenshot? I'll send it in text as well, just so that you have it in case you're not able to download. Okay, I've sent the assignment. Do that, it will help you. And we are going to discuss that in our next session to start with. Anything else? Riaz, I saw your message, so we can connect. Okay, anyone, if we don't have anything else, feel free to drop from the call. It was analytics. I'm very passionate about data and analytics in general. Managerial role has really given me a lot of satisfaction, so that's why I'm teaching. But it doesn't just need to be, a managerial analytics manager. If you need career guidance, if you need any sort of, help in terms in the data analytics space, yeah, I'll be happy to help. And throughout these next sessions, we'll be going through them. But yeah, thanks for joining. If you don't have any questions, feel free to drop.
Thanks, Anubhav. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. So there's, yeah, thanks, everyone. I'm there in the call if someone has any question.
Yeah, hi, Arnob. This is Pius this side.
Okay.
I just want to know, like, when it comes to a project management role, like, is it important to have PMP certification?
Project management role with analytics, like PMP certification is a
Yeah.
very good certification. And, the only problem is it's based on waterfall. Traditionally, it has been based on waterfall side of project management, though in recent years, they have included a bit of agile as well. 99% of the jobs are going to focus on just agile scrum, right? So in that context, its value has decreased over the time, but it's still one of the very, very respected certifications. And I have my own thought on certifications, but it definitely helps. If you can get it, try to learn more on the agile side of things, though I think it has agile briefly, but in conjunction to PMP, try to learn more about agile in general so that it will help you more in your job search. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anything else? Riaz, I'm there till the end. I know you have some question, but if you at any point want to ask it right away, you can ask it right now, or we can wait for the end.
Yeah, I think I'll just wait. Anubhav.
Sure. Other folks, do you have any question? So if not, feel free to drop.
I guess Anubhav, I can talk right now if that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anubhav, the thing is, can I just brief you about my profile?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, about your profile. I mean, tell about your years of experience and everything so that I can understand your situation.
I've done my bachelor's in electronics communication engineering and I did my master's from US in computer science.
Okay.
And I was working in US for about 3.5 years in 3 Fortune 500 companies till 2012.
Okay.
So my last position in US was as a business intelligence architect. So I
Oh,
was
so you have been
consulting.
into the data analytics space, right? So that's good.
That's back in 2012, so they didn't call it
Oh,
data analytics then.
oh, okay.
They call it business and intelligence.
Business intelligence, yeah.
Yes, so most of that was using Microsoft tools.
Okay.
And after that, I came back to India, and honestly, I had some personal loss in the family, so I didn't
Oh,
want to
sorry to hear
continue.
that.
Didn't want to continue working, so I joined my family business.
Okay.
So we are the distributors of carpets and wallpapers in West Maharashtra and Goa.
Okay.
So I've been doing that business for some time, but for the last 3 years, I've been studying AI data science. I've been
Okay.
doing a lot of coding and projects by my own
Okay.
through various consultancies and companies.
Okay.
I mean, what I meant is edtech companies,
Okay.
not with real-time data sets, but simulation data. But
Got
I
it.
know machine learning and deep learning pretty well, and I've been learning generative AI as well.
Okay.
That's when I got in touch with Apshala, and they suggested me this program because I'm around 42 years old. So they suggested me
Okay.
to go ahead with the data analytics program, manager program.
Yeah.
So now I want to know how can I get into a challenging role in data analytics manager with my kind of background, and what I was planning to enhance my resume to a certain bit
100%. Yeah. So,
and get into a
right.
good a good pay job actually, because I'm 42 years old. I don't want to start from the beginning again, and I want to get into a good pay. So how can
Yeah.
I do that?
Yeah. And just to confirm, so how many years of experience in core analytics, business intelligence do you have?
Around 5 years, but
5 years.
that is a long time back in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So you have 5 years of experience already, right? And
Yeah.
what were the tools? Microsoft may, I don't
Microsoft
think Power
SQL.
BI was there that
No,
point
no.
in time.
Those
Yeah.
times it was SSR, SQL Server Reporting
SSRS, yeah.
Services.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, SSRS you must have experience. So you have experience in data modeling and things, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
data
SQL Server
transformation,
Analysis
SQL
Services.
Server,
SQL
SSIS,
Server.
SSRS,
Yes,
Excel,
yes.
Advanced Excel. So you have good experience. So unlike a lot of folks in here who might have 20 years of experience but no analytics experience, and they have their own journey, you might have an easier journey actually, Riyaz. So there is nothing to worry about. I think for your position, since you have already worked in business intelligence, your focus should be more about, the game plan to crack interviews. You have all the experience. I think after a point, IT tech skills are overrated. ठीक है? Uh, if you want a good pay, what is the pay that you're looking at? Since no one else is here, I can ask you, right?
Something like a 60 lakh per annum.
60 lakh per annum is something that, like, since no one is there in the call, and
No, please.
yeah,
Yes, yes. Please be frank.
60 lakh per annum is, yeah, no, this is being recorded, right? So I'm just being
No, no.
careful
You
because
can.
this might be
Oh,
put up in YouTube and stuff as well. But yeah, 60 lakh per annum is very much can be done within, I think, for most folks. Uh, with 8 to 9 years of experience, a lot of people, uh, earn that much, including, I'm I'm trying to also put my profile also in that bucket. People with 8 to 10 years of experience can earn that. With 5 years of experience, if you say in analytics, it might be a bit difficult, 60, 50, 60 lakh.
no,
But
I'll be frank with you. I'll help me enhancing my resume because I've been doing this preparation for a long time.
yeah. So you need to pitch that, right? You have 5 years in analytics, but you might have some other experience. You might have entrepreneurship experience. You're going to put in everything. So in total, if you have, let's say 2012 was long back. So, let's say you have 5 years in analytics and few years in entrepreneurship. You were the one, you just mentioned you were the one in, doing entrepreneurship, right? So you need to leverage that, Riaz, So with, let's say if you have 8 years of experience, if you pitch that I have already got experience in and as a in business intelligence, I've already got entrepreneurship experience. Correct me, you were the one that who mentioned about entrepreneurship, right, Riaz?
Yes.
Yeah, I have entrepreneurship experience. I've led teams and I've led projects. If you have not led teams, at least you might have led projects during your past experience in US and in during entrepreneurship, right? So I know what's the lay of the land. I understand how people work. So your game plan should be more about tackling interviews. Your full focus should be on resume building, CV building, you know, cover letters are overrated, but have one. Have your LinkedIn profile set up. Look into my LinkedIn profile if you want. They just, I would have suggested you few things on the top voice and stuff, but I just while showing the LinkedIn profile, just noticed that they have stopped that. But have the endorsements, have the recommendations. LinkedIn will be key. Your resume is going to be key. We can discuss resumes as well. For you, we can discuss it sooner. Okay, I can, if you can ping me on if you can send me a mail, I can share my resume with you. Okay, and you can, and as I said, resume is 90% of your career switch or job switch, right? So try to see what elements I have in my resume and try to see that if you can. So email ID you have, right? So I shared my email ID, right, Riya? So can you just send a mail over that as discussed above, can you send me your resume? So I'll
Sure.
just forward it. So, my resume has certain components like certifications, like, certain projects I have done, certain impacts, certain awards that I've got. You might or might not have all of that, but there might be something similar that you can do still now. Certification, you might not have Tableau Alteryx certification there, but you have done you have done the Upshala course or prior courses, right? You can put those certifications. Even if nothing is there, Udemy certification works, but you need to have certification in place. You need to show the impact that you have done in your past experience. It's not if you are mentioning, I have worked on SQL, I have worked on Tableau, it's going to be hard cracking a 50 lakh interview, right? You need to put that, what impact did you create? Like, saved 2000 hours using, using Alteryx automation or the SSR, SSI stuff that you did, and it doesn't need to be 2000. It can be 20 hours, but you need to show the impact that you saved time, brought efficiency, you you built a dashboard which drove efficiency or drove an impact. So let me send you the resume. Look into my LinkedIn profile. This was going to be part of this course later on, but since you want to make a switch right away, I can be of some help sending you those. I can provide you some guidance. Yeah.
Yeah, Anubhav, the thing is, Apshala has trained me in Microsoft Fabric. So I
Okay.
don't know how useful it is going to be. Yeah, do you think it is a useful tool for me in the
So,
resume?
so help me understand, because I have worked on Microsoft Power BI 5 years back, but since last 5 years, I've been more of a Tableau person. I mean, leading and managing teams, Tableau side of things. Power BI was just there, as part of Office 365 in my last company. But Microsoft Fabric is the best thing out there, right? Right now, they have Power BI and they have all the Gen AI stuff also in Fabric. Correct me, what all things are there in
Yes,
Fabric?
it's an integrated tool with all the data science integration,
Oh,
data
that's
engineering,
good,
everything.
right? That's the best thing right now that you can get, Riaz. I mean, Apshala did the right thing teaching you Microsoft Fabric, because it comes with all the, if would have been Tableau, you would have to learn Tableau Pulse and Tableau Einstein and Salesforce Einstein, since it's part of the ecosystem. Microsoft really simplified it, including everything under one bucket called Fabric, right? So, and one good thing about Microsoft is, and Power BI is, if you are learning, so Power BI itself is equal to Tableau and Alteryx, because you have the ETL capabilities as well. Plus, you have experience SSR, SSIS. So I think you have a good profile, Riaz. Microsoft Fabric is definitely good, but you need to show, you'll have to be very clever, Riaz. I mean, I'm trying to be honest also, right? Your interview cracking is a lot going to be on your communication skills, which I think you are good at, talking to you, right? So how you are pitching your past experience and your experience in data analytics and these courses, and how you can do a how you can sum it up to the person in front of you, is going to be a deal. So focus on this course that I'm taking. I think for you, for the salary range you mentioned, cracking the interviews is the main focus. You should be building your profile, building certifications, building if you can also get a certification on Agile Scrum side of things, that would be helpful. There are certifications where very prestigious certifications like CSPO, sorry, not CSPO. I think CSPO is Certified Scrum Product Owner. Yeah, that would work as well. Certified Scrum is Agile. So you just need to attend a 2-day session and you'll get a very prestigious certificate. That's the easiest one to get, but again, it's around 15,000. So won't recommend it to everyone, but if you can learn about Agile and Scrum and
Yeah,
pitch it,
definitely. Can you tell me again what is the name of the certification?
there is CSPO, read about it. I mean,
CSPO.
CSPO. It's a good, easy 2-day certification. You just need to. So CSPO. Let me also just confirm CSPO by Scrum Alliance. So you need to do that. Yeah. So apart from tech certifications, if you have, try to build a profile. If you have Tableau Public or public profile for Power BI, that will be good. Try to tweak your resume. Try to prepare your LinkedIn profile. Get endorsements. Get recommendations, you have to be tactical in these side of things, so that, and 90% of it is going to how you are able to communicate and translate all your experience to the interviewer. You have to be very tactical on that, and yeah, those all things we'll discuss. Yeah.
Sure. And the technical certification, what would you suggest? Should I take anything else? You want me to take something, Fabric certification? Other than that,
Do you have experience in Microsoft Power BI side of things or Fabric side of things? Do you have experience apart from what you have done in the course? Do you have actual work experience?
see, it's just a tool. It's just tool which goes ask you to go to different places. That's it. It's a basic tool. Fabric. There's nothing much to actually.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it might have Power BI and those
it
inside
has
it
Power BI as
components,
well.
right?
Yes,
So
components as well.
yeah. So if you can get a Power BI certification, see, are you're not specifically only trying for analytics managerial role, right? You are targeting for any role. Okay, but you want the 50 lakhs, so you have to target specifically for managerial. So for managerial role, the CSPO and all those managerial certifications. So CSPO is certified, what was the full form? Certified Scrum Product Owner. Anything related to Agile, anything related to project management is going to be much more helpful than technical certifications. But what I'll say is have a not Tableau Public or a public profile. If you have things you have done as part of your earlier courses, put it in GitHub. If you have certain dashboards, put it in Tableau Public or Power BI Public, whatever Power BI services, I believe what it's called. And you'll have to build your profile so that you can communicate that I'm already good at tech side of things, but I'm also good in managerial side of things. I've created impact in the teams I've led. I've built teams. I've helped this team increase the revenue or helped save 20 hours of time for this team. So you have to be more impact driven. If you tell that SQL, I know Tableau, I know Power BI, it is possible, but it's going to be equally difficult to crack that salary range that you mentioned. Focus on impact. Look into my resume. Look into how you can, and give me some time. I might be able to, because I need to leave. I'll be able to send you by tomorrow or by tonight. But try to see how you can match my resume in terms of, if I have mentioned certain certification, you mention your own certification. If I have mentioned some impact on some efficiency metric I have developed, or something at times I have saved thousands of hours saved. It might not be thousand, but it might be related to something that you have done in your past. So try to match my resume in terms of broader framework that I have developed in the resume.
Cancel.
Okay.
Okay, Anubhav. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You've been really helpful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, happy to help. Okay, thanks, Riaz. So I'll be dropping off from the call. Any other question?
No. Thank you very much. You've been really helpful.
All right.
Anubhav,
Yeah.
Abhishek this side again.
Okay.
I had a query earlier before. So similar to what Riaz has, it's kind of the same kind of upstream in my career as well.
Okay.
So the last
Sorry,
corporate.
Shavir, do you want me to drop off?
No, I don't think so. That should be fine. I've been
Okay.
here
Okay.
all the while. So, 2018 was last corporate experience that I had, that I was working with Sapient as a lead HR, and post
Okay.
which I thought that would want to make something of my own. I started a company of my own where that did not do well, pertaining to many reasons as such.
Okay.
And COVID hit, and also there was a loss in my family as well.
Oh,
And
sorry to hear that.
post that, there hasn't been anything in my career. So it's just been, I've been working places as a consultant, doing
Okay.
people coach management and all of that,
Okay.
heading webinars, going about teaching people on soft skills and all of that, and leadership
Oh, that's
capabilities.
good.
But during my tenure in my own organization, and as well as in the past with Sapient, and as well as in Accenture,
Yeah.
there was close to about, I mean, I do have team management skills as well.
Okay.
There came a point in time in my career in my own organization, I've headed close to about 40 employees, directly or indirectly reporting to me, since I was a
And
co-founder director of my company.
Sheikh is your name, right? I'm
Yes,
saying your
yes,
name
yes,
correctly.
yes,
I'm
yes,
so sorry,
absolutely.
Sheikh. Can we connect? You can call me. I'll give you my number as well. Can you connect after half an hour?
Sure, I
Or
followed you on LinkedIn.
yeah, yeah.
You've also
So
earned a subscription on YouTube.
oh, that's good. I'm the only reason I'm saying is I need to urgently go for
Definitely,
some
no
time.
worries, no
But
worries.
you can, you can. I'll give you my number.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just drop me a message on my email. I'll give you my number as well, and
Sure.
we can discuss it because I want to give you time properly, right? And I won't be able to focus on you while
I'm
my wife
glad.
is calling me. So
Definitely,
let's
definitely.
do that
I would not
properly.
want to
Okay.
hold you back. Yeah.
So.
Sure,
Anubhav,
Anubhav.
can I have your number as well?
Sure, sure, sure. Just send me the mail. I'll for both of you actually. I'll pass on the resume as well because I think it will help Sheikh as well, and I'll
Sure.
pass on my number as well over there.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Anubhav. It was
okay.
really nice meeting you.
Thanks, Sheikh.
Thank
And
you.
Sheikh, we'll connect. We'll decide a time and we'll
Sure.
connect.
Sure
Okay.
thing. Sure. Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks again.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. I'm just dropping off from the call.